Hello, my name is Maxine Bryan, and today I will be talking about the hungry caterpillar and a lesson, a micro teach that will hopefully encourage you to um, achieve strong literary and reading strides with your students. Our objective today is kindergarten children will develop basic counting and numbering recognition skills through a teacher-centered activity using the story, The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. Now, you might want to introduce the objective to your students. The students population that you will be teaching today is kindergarten. So you might say, good day, everyone. Today's lesson is designed to help kindergarten students develop basic counting and number recognition school skills through the story, The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. By the end of this lesson, now this is you talking to other teachers on how to employ this lesson. Students should be able to count a group of objects and represent numbers of objects with a written numeral. Now, if you are wondering where this objective aligns as far as best standards are concerned, it is MAKNS011, which requires students to count and represent numbers up to 20. So let's proceed with the detailed steps of this lesson. We have the set. In the set, we will be talking about the introduction. The purpose is to engage students. We want to introduce the lesson's topic. Ultimately, we want to create interest and setting the stage of learning. So the set engages students by again introducing the story and discussing the caterpillar's journey. So to begin our lesson, it is essential to engage the student and introduce the content. Start by saying, today we're going to read a story about a very hungry caterpillar. He eats lots of different foods. Let's see how many different foods the hungry caterpillar eats. You might want to show the cover, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, to capture the interest of the kindergarteners you will be working with. To your left-hand corner, you will see a picture of the book that is being read. This introduction sets the stage for our counting activity. You will be identifying what is the picture on the front cover? What do you think the story is going to be about based on the cover of the book? You see, again, this introduction sets the stage for our counting activity. When you read the book up to the point where the caterpillar begins to eat various foods, the initial engagement is what is really important because it is important for drawing the students in the lesson and making them eager to participate. Next, you will review prior knowledge. So the purpose is to assess and connect to students' existing knowledge, meaning what they already knew, maybe about hungriness or caterpillars. We want to ensure they have a foundation for new learning. So you're going to review prior knowledge and ask questions to assess what students already know about caterpillars and counting. So before we start counting, it is important to connect new learning to what students already know. You ask questions such as, can anyone tell me what they know about caterpillars? And do you remember any foods that caterpillars like to eat? This helps activate the prior knowledge and prepares them for the new content. It shows pictures of caterpillars and various foods to stimulate discussion and assess their understanding. This review ensures that students have the necessary background knowledge to engage fully with the lesson. As you can see, there is a picture of a caterpillar surrounded by some of the foods that they ate in the book itself. So again, we ask ourselves, what do we already know? Next is the I Do teacher-centered instruction. It is where the teacher models counting with caterpillars and food. Remember, I do means teacher model the task while students observe. Now we move to the I do phase, which is teacher-centered part, because we will model the task for the students by beginning reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Remember, we're reading up to a part where the caterpillar begins eating. We draw a segment of a caterpillar on the board on a large paper, much like you see on your screen. You might want to say, this is our caterpillar. Each segment will show what he eats. Start by placing a picture of maybe one apple on the first segment, the first part of his body. You see the circle right here. Then he will demonstrate and help students understand how to count objects and associate them with numbers. Again, in this phase, the teacher explains the objective and demonstrates how to count while students listen and observe. That is their role. Next, we do the we do. That is shared instruction. The teacher and the students work together to complete the task. In this particular task, they will count together with students as a group. What might you say? You might say, next, we enter the we do phase, which involves shared instruction. In this part, you and the students work together by saying, now we count together. I'll need your help. Place the food pictures on the caterpillar one at a time and count each item together with the class. For example, here's the next item, 2 pairs. 1, 2, 2 pairs. This collaborative instruction reinforces the skill and ensures everyone participates. The shared instruction phase is crucial for guiding students through the process with support. We have the guided practice. What is the purpose of guided practice? It really is to provide structured practice with teacher support, reinforcing learning and assessing understanding. Remember, all throughout this process, and not only for this process, but for this PowerPoint, I am scaffolding, breaking it down into easy, manageable chunks. We're reviewing counting with students, asking questions. Why? To stimulate critical thinking. So we might ask ourselves, how many pears did the caterpillar eat? Can you count the apples? So again, during guided practice, we continue the we do, but we focus more on reinforcing the learning with structured support. So we review the counting activity with the students. We might ask questions, more questions. How many pears did the caterpillar eat? Can you count how many apples or pears or oranges were placed on the caterpillar's body? After each question, ask students to show a thumbs up or a thumbs down if they understand and counted correctly, or if they did not understand. This helps you quickly assess informally their understanding and identify who needs further assistance. You use this time to ask stimulating questions because we want to understand. The purpose of a UDO, it's collaborative learning to allow students to practice the skills collaboratively, promoting peer learning and cooperation. Remember, students work in groups, usually smaller groups with smaller children. This is kindergarten. And we place all the materials on the desk, so the food on the caterpillar. Students will practice the skill collaboratively, but as a teacher, we give minimal assistance. So we organize small groups and provide each group with a drawing of a caterpillar, a set of food pictures, and we instruct them and tell them it is your turn in your groups. Help the caterpillar eat. Can you put the right number of foods on the caterpillar and count together? We walk around the room to observe and assist as needed. We encourage our students, show a thumbs up or down to indicate the understanding. This peer activity promotes collaborative learning and practice and allowing students to learn from each other while the teacher facilitates. Now, independent practice. We are assessing individual students' understanding. We're providing an opportunity for independent practice. Remember, You do alone. They are demonstrating understanding independently. So finally, when we reach the you do alone independent practice phase, where students practice their skills alone, we give each student an individual caterpillar paper and set out food items to cut and paste. Explain. Now help the caterpillar all by yourself. Cut out the food items and paste the correct amount of food in each space. It allows you to assess each student's counting skills and ensure they can perform tasks without your help. And you can kind of see it in this picture. Now, reflection. What did you learn about teaching and learning through Microteach experience? I really learned that this is a very, how do you say it? It is very important to plan, right? Without planning, we have poor performance, and we ultimately want our teachers and our students to succeed. And, oh, sorry, to succeed, we want them to do better, and understand material, right? I also learned, hmm, I also learned the importance of a clear objective and structured lesson planning, highlighting an effective engaging students from start with compelling introductions. I loved how it emphasized the significance of active participation, scaffolding learning activities to gradually release responsibilities to students. So it also underscores the value of formative assessment techniques to gauge understanding quickly and adjust teaching accordingly. For the second question, as a future teacher, I will take away the importance of differentiated instruction and ensuring every student has an opportunity for both collaborative and independent learning. It needs to be clear for communication, both in stating learning objectives at the beginning of the lesson and providing structured guidance throughout. Thank you.